Isn't it pretty strange that Wissa hasn't actually yet made his debut for Newcastle United. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. His move on the 1st of September was rushed, of course, due to the fact that Alexander Isak made the switch to Liverpool, which was a British record fee of £125 million. And just days after, while on international duty, Wissa suffered a posterior, cruciate ligament, right, which is basically a knee injury. Against Senegal. I remember I was streaming that game and it was actually very unfortunate because I thought that the Democratic Republic of Congo's chances of actually World Cup qualification was over because he's one of the key men for the DRC. But it's actually very, very, very much impressive that the DRC managed to go all the way through to actually defeat Cameroon as well as Nigeria to actually stand a chance of qualifying for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. You know what I'm saying? Without their key man, Yoane Wissa. But now back to the side of Newcastle United, right? That was like initial fears of an ACL tear, right? And that's like a season-ending type of injury. But it was quickly allayed, But and as well as we've seen, there was a recovery, which has actually happened as at a very minimal speed. So as of mid-November, Wissa is actually back running on the grass. He's back in training, you understand, doing some individual work. But Eddie Howe has actually repeatedly stressed that he's not even close to actually joining the team for training, group training. So he has to continue doing solo training until he gets to a point where he's like fully fit to actually return back to training with the team, right? So they have to be careful, Newcastle United. But yeah, I can tell that he's actually working very hard. I saw some recent clips on Newcastle's Instagram page that, oh man, the guy is actually recovering. He's actually working, right? But then it doesn't look like he's anywhere close to action anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty unfortunate because you have to consider the fact that Newcastle United paid 55 million pounds for this guy. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of money. You know what I'm saying? So you would expect him to be on the field. You would expect him to be helping Newcastle get those results, especially now that Newcastle United are also playing Champions League football, and the fact that Newcastle want to maintain their European ambitions. You understand? As well as their Premier League ambitions, because I'm sure Newcastle would want to finish in like the top four in the Champions League spot. You understand? And I'm sure Newcastle would want to actually like have a decent run in the UEFA Champions League this season, despite the fact that they have had a slow start. But Wissa has already missed 11 games for Newcastle United, and I wish him a speedy recovery. You know what I'm saying? But hey, he has actually missed a lot of games. And again, Wissa actually showed a lack of caution playing full matches for the DRC, despite a limited preseason preparation. And he was actually urged. And also, again, I mean, he might as well even miss out on the AFCON for the Democratic Republic of Congo because the AFCON is about to get underway in less than a month's time on the 15th of December in Morocco. You know what I mean? And remember, Congo actually had an impressive tournament last time out in the Ivory Coast, finishing fourth place, right? Losing to the eventual winners and the eventual host, Cote d'Ivoire, in the semifinals. You understand? So they actually had a decent run in the previous tournament with Wissa on board. So they actually need him. They really do need him for the AFCON. And the fact that he's not actually going to be a present figure, I feel like it's actually going to hurt them. But based on how they've actually played, based on what I've seen in recent games, I don't really think it's going to affect them that much. You know what I'm saying? Because Congo is actually stacked with quality. They stacked with quality. But again, it is going to affect Newcastle in terms of like depth in terms of their depth, their striking depth. But Newcastle, I feel like they do have that department covered, man. I feel like they do have it covered.